Welcome back to the Quiet Man series, episode 17. Now, what do butterflies, chaos, and visualizations have in common? Well, all will be revealed in this episode. I was still running, and California is an absolutely beautiful place to run. My running partner at the time was a chap called John. He was a Scotsman and he was doing a PhD at UC Irvine down in Orange County. And I used to go to the track there. Now, UC Irvine had a world-class running track. And I used to go join John down there for our interval training. And he taught me a very good visualization trick called the golden thread. And it's one of those things that when it gets tough, you have to imagine that as you breathe in, this thread is pulling you forward, and as you breathe out, you're getting pushed from behind. It's called the golden thread, and when you're running and you're really digging deep, it's a very powerful visualization. Well, my running really improved with this technique. John and I entered the Carlsbad, the 5K. It's just an absolute top-class race. Carlsbad's a beautiful little seaside resort between San Diego and Los Angeles. And we both had the best times. John was a little bit quicker than me. I think he did the 5K in 15:50, and I was about 20 seconds behind him in 16:10. Fastest race of my life. I was in pretty peak condition, I can tell you. So what were the threads that were coming together? I said this was about butterflies, chaos, and visualizations. Butterflies. I flew back to Britain. My good old school friend Paul was getting married to his sweetheart called Claire, and we were in the village hall at the reception. And as is tradition, the groom gives a talk and started talking about chaos theory. I thought he had lost it. What he was explaining was something called the butterfly hypothesis. And that is that if a butterfly flaps its wings in China, it moves some air. A field of butterflies flap their wings, they move a lot of air. A lot of air moving in China can change the weather patterns, and that can have an influence on wherever you are. It can change the weather in Hampshire or London or California, and that's the consequence of very small actions having big outcomes. That's kind of the context of it all. I thought he'd lost his marbles. But on the flight back, I started thinking about that. Small effects, small inputs, big effects. And it just became a seed of an idea which I would later weave into the freedom tree. So that's one of the threads that came through. One of the other threads that came through was a promise delivered. Jane came over from Brunei to visit me in California. We had a lot of fun. We went to Santa Catalina, Avalon, Palm Springs. We took my friend Charlie's Porsche up around the mountains, Idlewild. We went trekking up San Jacinto. It was just an absolutely glorious time. I can remember picking Jane up at the airport. I had a Saab 9000 at the time, and she started squirming on the way back to the apartment in Long Beach, and she looked at me and I just smiled. What is going on here? And what it was the peak of the summer. I turned the electric seat warmers on and she was squirming around in the seat. I found it a little bit amusing and we chuckled about it a little bit later. I said that there were three themes in this chapter. That was butterflies, chaos, and visualizations. Butterflies, chaos, and visualization. And these are just threads that are coming together. And at that point in my life, I felt that a number of threads were coming together, and we'd be able to make a little bit more sense of them in chapter 18, which is all about gold. I'm going to leave it there. If you've liked this chapter, give it the thumbs up, comment on it, share it with your friends. The threads are coming together in chapter 18, so I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.